The election is over. What does that mean to you as an Arizona home buyer, home seller, or homeowner? That's what I'm going to tell you all about today. Hey, my name is John Gletch. I'm the team leader of the Gletch Group. Been in real estate in Arizona for 20 years and run a team of amazing real estate agents all throughout the state who've been helping people buy and sell homes, thousands of homes at this point. And the election was a big deal. A lot of excitement around it, a lot of predictions about what that would cause in terms of home values. And so today I'm going to break that down and show you exactly what has happened now that it's been a few weeks since we've got the results. First of all, let's talk about interest rates. Interest rates here on the chart, you can see from November 4th till December 2nd when I'm filming this video, not much has happened. There was a lot of speculation. There's also a Fed rate cut in there in this chart as well around, I think it was on the 8th of November. And there's a lot of, misconception around the idea that elections or Fed rate cuts have a big effect on interest rates. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They're not predictive at all. And we've seen that to be the case here where interest rates pretty much the same as they were before. This here shows a little bit of a decrease, but this is kind of exaggerated. This is a pretty zoomed in graph. And so we're just not seeing that much change has happened. And that is also something that you can see here in the long-term graph. So you can see in a long-term graph here for the last couple of years, rates have gone up, rates have gone down, and that's throughout all kind of political news, all kind of capital news, interest rate news related to real estate markets, related to stocks, bonds, all that stuff. All of that factors into these rates. And so it turns out it's very, very hard to predict what big news is going to do to interest rates. And those folks who've been kind of waiting around for lower interest rates, I've been encouraging for years now to just make your move, just make a decision based on what rates are at today and hope that they'll get better down the road and you can refinance, right? It turns out it's very hard to sit around and wait for interest rates to go down. That may or may not happen in the next 6 months or year or whatever. Pretty tough to predict. The other thing I want to walk through a little bit today is what's going on with the Cromford Index. This does do a really good job of predicting pricing. Cromford Index is a market index. 100 on that index is a normal market. Anything below 100 means there's downward pressure on pricing. Anything above 100 means there's upward pressure on pricing. So this is what's happened this year. Went from around 110, went up a little bit, and now we are down into the mid 80s, and it's kind of leveling off at this point, which means overall in the whole Phoenix market, there's a little bit of downward pressure on pricing. Nothing crazy. During the crash, we saw the Cromford Index get down into the 50s. So nothing to panic about, and we're seeing this level off. So right now, a little bit cold out there, a little bit tough. And that's because of, and by that, I mean tough for sellers because interest rates are still relatively high. And so we're seeing sellers have to sit on the market a little bit longer, not getting the prices that they were necessarily hoping for. And we don't see that changing a whole lot. That's kind of stable. Now, it does really depend on where you are. Right. So these are all the different kind of larger metro markets here in Phoenix. And you can see that it really does depend on your area. If you're in Chandler, the market index is up to 135 and climbing. Fountain Hills, 129 and sinking like a rock. Right. So it just depends on where you're at. So if you want to pause this video, check out your particular city, you'll get a sense of where you're at. We, for example, right now having a real hard time selling houses in Buckeye, Maricopa, Queen Creek. Those areas are really slow. And I don't see a lot of price appreciation in the near term future for those areas. And what my estimate is of what's going to happen moving forward is that I think things are going to kind of level off. We're going to see a relatively normal year in terms of pricing. I don't think they're going to go up a bunch. I don't think they're going to go down a bunch. I think we're going to see kind of a flat year. And so our suggestion, if you're trying to time the market right now, would be to not time the market. We don't think there's a lot of upside in waiting or a lot of upside in downing hurrying up, rushing, and that's whether you're a buyer or a seller, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Another thing I want to point out here is active listings. So we do typically see the curve that you can see here on 2016 and 2023 where, in 2016, that would be a normal curve. And then 23 was last year, 24, of course, is this year. A normal curve is represented by 16. And that's where you see January, the number of listings you can see here begin to increase and they peak, right around here, late spring, and then they kind of fall. We see another little dip here after the hot summer months into the fall, and then they come back down at Christmas, Thanksgiving. So that'd be a normal curve. And what we've seen this year is an adjustment over 2023. 2023, very few listings. That was a really low, tough year for listings, not much inventory at all for buyers. And this year, things have kind of normalized, right? So we've we've seen the listing count go up, and really kept on climbing until just recently started falling again, which is very common seasonally. So we're seeing inventory kind of get back to normal. If you want to compare this to like a really crazy year, here's 2008 when every house on the block was for sale, right? So we're doing far better than that. We're not in any kind of panic territory. This is when you start to really worry, right? And that all started in 2005 when we started to see listings climb a bunch. That's that green line here, but it just kept on climbing. We're not seeing that happen. We're seeing listings level off. So really the market normalizing. Interest rates kind of seem stuck where they are. We think at some point in the next couple of years they're going to fall. We don't know when. And so generally speaking, if you're a buyer, buy a house that you're happy with and then just cross your fingers and hope interest rates go down. And when they do, you can always refinance, right? If you're looking to sell your property, we suggest in general, just live your life. Like Rihanna and T.I. say, just if things, are predicating you selling your house, I would sell your house. If they're not, you don't have to. The market seems to be right where it's supposed to be. So we suggest and encourage that you let your life dictate what you do in terms of housing right now. No big upside in waiting or hurrying. So if you have any questions on what's going on in your particular neighborhood, what's going on in your part of the world, reach out. We'd be happy to help out. Also, of course, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, we would be thrilled to help you out with that process. Thanks.